I'm Isabel Gustafson, Senior Editor for Club and Resort Chef. I'm here today with Nelson Millán, Executive Chef of Vaquero Club. Thanks so much for joining us today, Chef.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Boy, when it comes to talking about myself, I'm a little shy, honestly, but been in the industry for about 30 years. I started back in hotels and resorts. For the last, I'll say 15 of those 30 years, I've been in private clubs. So, and a little parenthesis that happened about 2 years ago. I went to the corporate world as well, and came back to the club industry. So,
what brought you back to the club world?
Club world. Once you become part of this circuit, I think this is it. I think as a chef, I think it's the pinnacle of any desirable job in the chef industry. Once you become part of a club, you become part of a family, and that's what makes a difference. And you have this captive audience that you just cater to on a daily basis, day in, day out. They come and visit you 2-3 times a week, almost twice a day, and you get to see them in the hallways, and they know you by name, and you know them by name as well. Different than probably in the hotels and resorts that you just deal with, let's say, occasional conventions, transients that come by and stay with you 3 days. You don't get to know them, and they just go by, and another set of people come by, and you never establish that kind of rapport and connection. So that's probably one of the reasons clubs are a little more intimate and a little more family sort of a feeling, if you will.
Tell us a little bit about the club that you're at now.
I'm at Vaquero Club in Westlake, Texas. This is the north part of Fort Worth, if you will, out of the Metroplex. Dallas is here, Fort Worth is here. The club is sort of a north. It's a fairly new club, has 20 years of existence. Last September is when we celebrated 20 years for the club. We just put a massive party out with, fireworks and whatnot. And it's great to be part of something that is barely starting compared to many other clubs that are usually 100 years old and so. And obviously that brings the challenges of building the structures and the systems and whatnot, but it's been great so far.
What's the culture like there?
Culture is Texan. Texas is Texas. And they always says that, as you probably know, and it's widely known that the motto of Texas is everything is bigger and better, and this club is not an exception. Everything is built bigger and better, and it's a very nice club and well built, and our membership is definitely, I'll say, a younger demographics compared to many other clubs as well. That comes, I guess, with the tenure as well. A very nice club, actually.
What's the food and beverage like?
Food and beverage is, I'll say it is an operation that brings opportunities to cater to a diverse clientele. We have all sorts of cultures represented at the club and the clientele, all spectrums. You're talking about Asians, Indians, and Native Americans, and so on. And, it brings challenges on keeping things refreshed and sort of eclectic, if you will. And I love that.
You mentioned a younger audience as well. How does that impact your menu?
Well, I'll say usually demographics on traditional clubs are usually between the 62s and 65 range age. My club happened to be in the 52, 56, sort of 10 years younger. This family's traveled the world. I'll say they're more adventurous when it comes to food, and they like to try things out of the box. And that offers definitely, like I said, a blank canvas to play with food that possibly in other traditional clubs you might not have the flexibility to do. And I'm enjoying that immensely.
Is there anything on the menu right now that you're really excited about?
My menu, wow, it reflects, for example, we have lobster bao buns. Bao buns, like a lobster roll, but in an Asian bun.
Yeah.
And they love that. And for example, I'm naturally from Puerto Rico, so it reflects, part of my appetizers are like stuffed tostones, like plantains, cups, stuffed with crab and a little bit of crab salad. And they enjoy the whole entire spectrum, from tropical to Asian to American to a little bit of Indian. We have an Indian audience that prefer more like vegetarian dishes and so. And it's a broad spectrum, like I said, for a younger audience that is a little bit more adventurous, if you will. Yeah.
Where do you get inspiration from?
Everywhere. I'll say my inspiration comes from, obviously, social media is big in these days, and I like to sort of spy colleagues in Instagram and see what they're doing, and some other sites that are very interesting and they portray good information. Magazines like obviously Club and Resort Chefs, it's one of the resources, and Chef to Chef magazine, which is great. When it comes to the club industry, it's where we find best practices that works on different clubs, and to me, it's one of the valuable resources. In my case, I'm a musician by trade. I was a musician back in my early life. So music, believe it or not, I listen to music and inspire me to either put dishes together or why not. And I'm always putting those two disciplines in a parallel level because they truly are built the same. And analogies that I use all the time are like a good song, like let's say a top 10 hit. It's like a top 10 dish at the same time. In the music industry, the patterns and the notes and the compasses needs to make sense to the ears, but the food, when you harmonize the ingredients and the textures and the colors on the plate, makes sense to the palate. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, they're parallel. You need to build that harmony on both sides in order to make sense to the senses, in order to get that reaction from people that says, that's a good song, this is a good dish.
I don't know if I know the story of how you went from musician to chef. Can you talk a little about that?
It's long story short. I was the baby actually of this Christian band that I used to tour around in the Spanish countries of Central and South America.
Oh, wow.
Back in the days, it was based in Puerto Rico, my hometown. I was the percussionist of the group. So I played the drums and anything that made noise. And again, talking about noise on the music sector, noises in the kitchen too. So every time I hear noises in the kitchen, whether it's a whisk on a mixing bowl or from the sauté pan, those noises to me make music too. For some reason, I hear those noises in the kitchen and I can almost synchronize them in a pattern that kind of weird. People might think I'm like crazy, but I might be crazy, but I always wanted to be in the kitchen. The reason I went to political sciences and so in order to be a lawyer is because my dad wanted me to be. And when I switched from political sciences to the kitchen, he was like, are you sure you want to do that? I said, yeah, I'm sure. I'm following my heart. And I did. I applied for the program. I got selected on the 25s. And I never looked back. So here I am. And 30 years later, and after starting flipping burgers at Wendy's to go through culinary school, here I am. Don't regret it a minute. I mean, this is a beautiful career. It has brought so many opportunities to see things and visit places and be in contact with cultures that I never expected in my life. So I'm very grateful for that. So that's how the transition happens, from music to political sciences to food.
Do you have any advice for a club chef just starting out?
Chase the knowledge instead of the money, because most of the time we tend to be trapped in the game of what's there for me rather than what can I bring to the table. If you bring stuff to the table that the members like and things flow in that regards, they'll take care of you. And eventually things will play out really good. The money will chase you later on. Just chase the knowledge and put the head down and hunt your craft and take care of yourself, obviously, too, emotionally and physically as well. And just go after the knowledge. Knowledge will get you far.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Chef. For more videos like this, go to clubandresortchef.com.